Hello everyone and welcome to today's geography lesson. Last week we looked at Red Beach in China, and interestingly enough we were looking at this type of plant here that created the red effect. Beautiful. It started green and then it turned red. Well, following on in the same theme of looking at plants, we're going to be looking at types of Australian vegetation today. What is vegetation? Okay, the dictionary definition. Plants considered collectively, especially those found in a particular area or habitat. In other words, vegetation is the plant life in a community. So if you look here at this picture, all these plants together create the vegetation. What determines the vegetation? Different plants and trees grow in different areas depending on these factors. You would know that when you go to the beach, you see different plants. When you look in your own backyard, you see different plants. If you were fortunate enough to go down to the snow, you would see different plants. If you were fortunate enough to go out to the middle of Australia and in the desert, you would see different plants, okay? So what determines what grows where? Firstly, it's the climate, okay? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it rain a lot? Does it not rain at all? It's determined on the soil, okay? We touched on that last week when we looked at Red Beach and the soil. The ability of the soil to hold water, okay? Whether it's clay holds water quite well. And finally, the slope of the land. You can see here the rocky surface here and some of these trees just jutting out, okay? They are all the determining factors of what grows, what vegetation grows where. Here are some fun facts and some new words. Did you know that there are an astounding 24,000 species of native plants in Australia? Wow, native simply means that the plant originated or started here in Australia. Okay, and another word for plant is flora. So if you often hear the word flora and fauna, flora is the plants and fauna are the animals. Look at these beautiful ones. Sorry, I'll just go back. This is the bottle brush, and this is called kangaroo paw. And they are some of our native Australian plants. Aren't they just beautiful? All right, let's have a look at this map of Australia. This shows the vegetation zones, okay? So here in the yellow, we've got desert, and we're going to be focusing on that a little bit more later in the lesson. That is your task today. Then we've got the grassland here, this brown. The woodland, okay? Oh, lots of woodland here. The scrubland down here. The rainforest, we know up here, the Daintree rainforest, okay? The open forest, which is where we live, okay, we live about here. The alpine vegetation. Now, isn't that interesting that the further we get down to Antarctica and the South Pole is where we get the alpine vegetation, the colder climates, okay? So different plants would grow there. And you can see obviously here, this looks like the desert zone. Very dry. Look at the types of plants that grow there. They mustn't need a lot of water. So that is a map of Australia's vegetation zones. Now here's just an interesting page. I thought we would have a quick look at poisonous plants. Australia has about 1,000 species of plants known to be poisonous to animals and humans. This is one here, the black bean. It is native, now you know what native means, to Queensland and New South Wales, and can be found on the riverbanks or in the rainforest as it likes wet soil. Between March and May, it produces large pods, okay, with toxic seeds. If swallowed, it can make you very, very sick. It's very interesting that we have some beautiful plants, but we also have some poisonous ones. Your task today, we're going to look back at that vegetation zone desert. Deserts have their own ecosystems, and many plants and animals call the desert their home. Australia has 10 individual deserts, ranging from the Simpson Desert to the Great Sandy Desert. What I would like you to do is to choose one plant that grows in the Australian desert. You will need to research that. And I want you to tell me 5 interesting facts about it. Maybe what it looks like. Maybe that it is really hardy and it doesn't require any water. Okay, maybe a type of animal likes to eat it. Maybe it's poisonous. Anything you can find out about that one type of flora that grows in the Australian desert. And you can turn that in on Google Docs, which is attached to this assignment. If you have some time after that, I want you to go into your own backyard and have a look at the plants that are growing in your own backyard. Do you have lots of flowers? Okay, or are they more like ferns and gum trees? Maybe you could get a watering can and test the soil. Okay, pour some water in there, see how wet the soil is. All right, enjoy the vegetation of Australia. Okay, good luck with your task today. Bye, everyone.